Joining us now to discuss this and the nominee's policy proposals is political strategist G'Rard Flitti. He's also a geopolitical analyst and attorney specializing in international law. Why do you think both Harris and former President Trump avoided stipulating specific policy positions during the debate, G'Rard?
Well, it's really hard to tell. I think that both found it more convenient to debate one another on non-issues, on personality, trying to goad one another, making it about style, making it about the persona of the candidate rather than about substance. With Kamala Harris, the issue is that we don't really know how she's planning to pay for some of her policy ideas. And the second part of the problem is she has held contradictory positions for years. With Donald Trump, he has been very strong on a number of issues like the economy and immigration, but he too doesn't have a firm commitment to how he's going to implement some of these ideas.
Do you think that this is something moderators should have pressed them harder on, or do you think the moderators pressed them enough?
I don't think the moderators were doing the best job that they could. They did certainly press Donald Trump a lot, not as much or not at all for Kamala Harris. But we also saw this in the CNN interview that Kamala Harris did. These candidates are not always answering the questions. And when prompted again and again by the moderators, they still don't answer the questions. I think really that's important for the American people to see that the candidates aren't answering. It's very difficult to get moderators to do that when the candidates themselves are unwilling.
Tell us, what do we actually know so far about their foreign policy positions?
The policy position of Donald Trump is easier to understand because he actually has been president. We expect that he will continue doing now as president what he did before, which is looking at our allies to bear a bigger burden, a bigger share of the burden for military defense, whether it's NATO or other treaties, looking to our partners to step up economically when there are international issues that require multi-country assistance, looking for our partners to take the lead in Europe, not always the United States. This is consistent with what he's done before. Also a very strong support for Israel, standing against Iran, making sure that Iran does not develop a nuclear weapon. With Harris, we assume it will be much a continuation of the Biden policies, but we don't know with certainty. And when it comes to Israel, there's certainly been equivocation because on the one hand, she says she is supportive of Israel and will provide them with weapons, but on the other hand, she surrounds herself with staff that does not like Israel and is fairly anti-Semitic. So there's a lot that we have left to see about how Harris will address global issues and whether she will go back to the negotiating table with Iran. And especially China, we don't know what her history is or what her stance is, other than that she wants to rein them in to some extent.